What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, episode 70, features Jimmy Lewis, joined by his guest host, Mike Shirley from Rally Navigator. Together they discuss topics such as slipping clutches, top speed variations, improper sag, riding position, and how a safe helmet can change your life. Keep listening, because you might learn something.
So live from Pahrump, Valley of the Dirt People, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, edition number 70. Who can believe we've been doing this 70 times?
I just heard that yesterday.
I'm sitting here with, Logan grew up quickly, but it's not Logan. It's Mike Shirley. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Hey.
And try not to make little extra noises with all the toys that you have in front of you.
Don't fidget.
Yeah, that's good because sound is kind of important to what we're doing here. Everybody in the chat room and stuff, how is the sound? Is the sound pretty good? Because we're doing some new stuff. We have broken equipment and we're using different microphones. Especially let me know if there's some sort of strange echo, because that never sounds good on the show. Right, Mike?
No one likes an echo.
No one likes an echo. Yeah. So you kind of want to sort of talk a little bit into the microphone. That's where you have to play with it a little bit.
Move it over here, so if I'm looking at you, admiring you, I'm still
microphone
centered.
That works good. I have to keep moving mine around because I start fidgeting as well. So Mike is a lifelong motorcyclist.
Not really.
Okay. You got 10 years though.
About 15 now.
15. Mike started riding a little bit late, but where Mike really comes into my motorcycle realm is he has something called Rally Navigator, which is software that allows ordinary humans to make map books for rally stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we use it kind of extensively when we do a lot of training. We use a couple different ones, but lately I've come back around to Rally Navigator because I was forced into it. It's like switching between a PC and a Mac. You know, you go from one, which is Tulip, which is one we use, and then I go over to Rally Navigator, and because some of the other stuff that we use, they don't talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, 6 months from now, you go back to Tulip, and you'll be back to Navigator. Next summer. So
but
it's all good.
I think for regular people, Rally Navigator is easier to get your hands on.
Yeah.
And I think in reality it has a lot more functionality for. I hate to say this, we jokingly go, well, that's like a dual sport rally, because the rallies that we train with and do, nobody wants to do those kind of rallies because they're super technical. They're like racing. It's racing rallies, and they're meant to screw with you, not to be fun. I guess they're fun. It depends on
curveballs.
Yeah, where your level's at. So, no, for that, Rally Navigator works excellent, and glad to have you. Glad to use it. There's Heather's favorite person that's not a person.
Yeah.
We got something for you. If you hear something fidgeting around, it's not me or Mike.
We'll just let her, real professional, let her cruise around the table.
Right.
This
is Chai Dog. This is a new. Wow, you're being friendly with me. Do not step on the keyboard. You're really going to step on the keyboard, aren't you?
Let's just put her right out.
Yeah. You stay there. Just
just
here.
Off camera.
Put your legs up like that.
Yeah, so she can pretend to be Logan.
Yeah. Actually, Speaking of that, I'm gonna do something right now. I'm gonna give Logan a call and see if he did his homework assignment, which was our read. We have a few sponsors of this show. I will tell you about Recluse. Recluse clutches. They make excellent clutching performance. Most famous for their auto clutches. Which you ever use a Recluse, Mike?
Just briefly. Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You're sure? You're not just.
It was in your bike.
You're not just saying it.
I think I drove around like the motorhome and back here, but I dug it.
And so most people say that haven't used it too much. They say they don't like them, but that's why they don't like them, is they haven't used them. So Logan, how you doing?
Good.
Do you are you ready?
Yeah.
You got your radio announcer voice on.
Sure.
Okay. So the important part here is did you write it down? Or are you going to do it off the top of your head?
I wrote it down.
Oh,
smart boy.
Yeah,
boy.
That's prep.
This is pro.
So Logan, what are we talking about here? KTMs?
Yes.
And what do you have to say about KTM?
They're powered by a distinct ready-to-rip mentality. KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer, with North American headquarters based in Marietta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on the racetrack around the world, and the brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every product it develops and every move it makes.
Wow.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, that was pretty good, Logan. Yeah. I mean, except it sounds like your sister's screaming in the background, there's dogs barking, and the wind's blowing. When are you going to be back? Sunday, okay. You missing Tech Talk Taco Tuesday?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say not really, but with that, thanks, and we might call you at the end of the show, but I'm going to hang up on you.
Good job, Logan.
Okay, see ya.
See ya.
I think you nailed it. Good.
Yeah,
it's the best I've heard so far.
He got at least a B+ on that one.
Yeah,
if he would have just lied to me and said, "No, I'm not reading it," and just pulled that. I mean, how are we going to tell?
That's the real deal right there. Yeah.
So, Mike, since you're standing in for Logan, one of your main jobs is every once in a while I get thirsty and I'd like to take a sip of something, and that's when you talk. Like Logan doesn't talk much. But he's kind of like learn that. Okay. That's why I like a co-host that doesn't say much. Unless you want to talk about me, then it's wide open. Just anytime you.
I'm at the public school in Santa Cruz, California, so I can't put a full sentence together.
Interrupt.
It's really tough.
Yeah. So hey, everybody, thanks for joining in on the chat room. So currently we are live on Facebook. We try to do that every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. That's where you can get your questions answered instantly. Or if you're watching this on the YouTubes, you just make a comment on one of the videos. And generally we pick those. We will pick up the best ones. Those are the ones that usually say, "Wow, Jimmy, this is the best video I've ever seen." And then I absolutely read those every time. But if you have a real solid question about one of the videos, about a certain motorcycle or about this show in general, go ahead and ask it. And if you're thinking about getting some Climb gear, you should do that, because I think Climb is a great sponsor of our show. They make excellent gear, especially the adventure riding gear, especially the off-road focused gear, which we wear quite a bit. I wear it when I'm out riding, and ask a question about Climb gear, because they like hearing your questions, because they pay attention to the show, because they use it to develop new products and do market research, kind of like some of the stuff we did with Climb Show Us Your Junk backpack, vest, carrying challenge. We had some pretty interesting videos submitted there.
Yeah, and I'll stick this on Climb gear. I had dinner with those guys a few years ago at an adventure rally in Colorado, and one of the product designers was there, and I just met him, and he was kind of talking a bit about their process, and I never really thought about it, but they have reps from material reps coming in, from 3M and different product providers, and he was telling me he asked his product the sales rep, "Hey, bring me anything for like aerospace, military, police, like bring me like your highest tech materials," and he's like, "I had pants on." He's like, "Yeah, that's where we got that material." And I'm like, "That's so cool, because that material wasn't on my previous pant, like some stretchy stuff." And it was cool to know that was coming from basically aerospace and fighter pilot background for some of their materials.
And I mean, that's true. I mean, they're that, and sometimes you sit there and go, what makes a company that's like, leading the game in some of the things? And you see this with other high end gear manufacturers as well. They're getting their hands on some material that isn't readily available yet, or it isn't kind of popular.
Yeah, first time I saw it was incline pants.
And it might, cool. Especially when you use it, when you're the first one to use it, it's just like technology. It might be a little bit more expensive and stuff, but it's such a leap in the way that it allows something to work. And then all of a sudden you see it start trickling down. Or in a lot of cases, there's the knockoff fabric, the one that stretches the same, but it catches on fire. So
it's all a trade-off, I guess.
Yeah,
save a few bucks, but you're on fire.
So thanks to everybody for sponsoring it. This is the bald edition of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Mike, do you see the people that are jealous of our lack of?
The only reason I got invited is because my hair's falling out.
Yeah, well, it's what Logan's going to look like in 20 years. Yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know. That kid's probably going to have full head of hair and he's going to laugh at me when he's my age. Let's see. Love the disembodied voice from the ether. What does that mean, Martin? Oh, wait. I think he's on ether. I think Martin, he might be getting modified. Like,
he would be talking if he was on ether.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because I think I saw a picture on the internets of him. It looked like he might have been in one of those gowns they give you in the hospital. Let's see. What else do we have going in here? Your mic doesn't sound like it's on. Todd Kelly. My mic.
Talking to me? Hello, Todd?
Yeah. Who's Mike? Mike?
It's Mike.
My mic, I could maybe adjust that way. Boy, if it's not on, I'm going to have to do a lot of audio engineering that I'm definitely not very capable of doing it. Let's see. The guy who helps with helmet and heat control is pretty awesome, I hear. Yeah, Martin's on the ether. Martin helps with helmets and basically, a lot of other stuff too. But he always tells them, like, why do you keep making these damn black helmets? Because they look good and they work good for like 80% of the people during 60% of the year, if you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the cooler months. And I'm the guy that's wearing my black helmet when it's 110 degrees out. And I like to say they're so good, they're so vented, when it does heat up and you do sweat a little bit, it actually, it does its deal, but
it still get some air flowing through.
Yeah. A white helmet would probably be much better for most people. Actually, I probably should wear a white helmet too, because one of these days I'm going to have my black helmet on. It's going to fry the 2 brain cells I currently have. Mm-hmm. And then we're in trouble.
Yeah. You're already on the borderline right now.
Yeah. Steve Conklin just popped up. Let's see. He says, I have been discouraged by many of the garment companies as us older dual sport riders are bigger in the middle and shorter in the legs. Are there plans to expand waist sizes for the use of beer-bellied ADV riders?
It's a market.
I tell you what, like Climb definitely has some big size. There's a lot of companies that have the big waist sizes, but they tend to have they don't do big waist, short legs.
Big and tall, yeah.
Yeah, they do big and tall. Like a lot of the Climb stuff, even for me, because I have a shorter inseam for my waist hasn't started growing. It's just the belly. I still fit in the same size pants as I did when I was in high school. Yeah, they I'm sure they're if it all comes down to sales. If they build that gear and it sells, they make more of it, and if they build it and it doesn't sell, then they make less. Bryce Davis says, I used to think Climb was overpriced. Then I bought some of their pants and it's been a great value. That's actually a great statement there, because there's a lot of that you get what you pay for. And I'm totally guilty of buying a lot of cheap stuff. And we're not looking at any of this equipment on this table, Bob. Don't even, there's nothing cheap here. Everybody's laughing at me. So I buy cheap things, and then when I buy something that's really good quality, and then I realize, it has lasted for a long time, and I don't buy my gear. I mean, I'm given all the different gear, but I can tell you between the different gear companies and stuff like that, there's definitely a difference. I mean, some of it's made to last a season at most. So for me, it lasts 4 or 5 rides.
Yeah, but isn't some of that typically like motocross gear is just a little lighter material, a thinner material? It seems like I run across that where Climb seems it's more like enduro adventure where it's pretty burly.
So it used to be that their stuff was bulky, a little bit heavier and more substantial, but that's where the materials are starting to come in. And not, like I said, not all motocross gear is created the same. And there's some gear companies that make really high end moto gear that's expensive. And I'm really surprised at how it lasts because
It's still durable, like lightweight and durable.
Yeah, here's my problem. I always forget to order new motocross gear, and we go out and do a photo shoot, and it's like, well, I end up wearing last year's gear, and maybe it's a little bit less than longer than last year's gear. And I have some stuff that I've been wearing for 2 and 3 years now, and I don't just wear it because I don't necessarily wear Climb when I go to the track. It's just kind of it's a goofy style thing. I don't know what it is, and. So I've had gears for 2 and 3 years. Some of it lasts, and some of it, like I said, 4 years, which is maybe 4 rides, which is like a lot more than. And all of a sudden, the seams are busting out on some of the pants and things like that. Jerseys tend to handle the same, but okay. Buy once, cry once. That's what George says.
Spend the money once, you'll cry, but it'll last longer.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Christian Parker has an entire closet full of Climb. It lasts forever, and you pay for that quality. Yeah. I thought Christian Parker, knowing Chris, that's Chris from Rottweiler Performance, who makes the same level of quality parts for KTM bikes.
I've got on my 990.
I thought he was going to put it up for sale right away. He's selling a lot of Honda parts. He had all this stuff from Baja. He was going to build a Honda bike. He's probably selling all the Honda parts right now. So, okay, guys, let's roll right into our questions that we got from. That's your job, yeah. So So I usually put the name. You don't have to tell us when we got the thing, but then just fire away and start asking the question.
I got a short question, and the next one's about 2.5 pages. So
yeah,
you want to start with the?
Yeah, let's go in order.
Alrighty, Mason McNeil. Wrote you questions. So I put a 48 tooth Renthal twin ring rear sprocket on my bike, and I was about to snap the throttle off. Had it pinned, topped out at 85. Now I'm wondering what's wrong with my bike. Maybe clutch slipping.
So Mason is talking about a new version Honda Sierra 450X, and he saw this video I did where I just held my phone up over the odometer while I pinned it and went down a road, and it got going like 96. And this was the bike I rode away from the intro when I was riding away from the intro, because I rode from where the intro was up to a cabin I had up in the mountains, and I just wanted to put some time on it. And I got the box stock Sierra 450X going 96 miles an hour. So he says his is going 65. So
85.
Oh, 85.
Okay, that's some context. I didn't know the whole backstory there. But
is it 80?
Yeah.
Is it, what is it? Is it
he put a 48 tooth sprocket on. His bike's topped out at 85 miles
85 miles an hour. Okay. So I thought he said 65 or maybe.
I might have said 25. I don't even know.
How many is that?
Yeah, no idea.
Tonight's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, we're going to have Loma Azul Tequila again because I never put it away from last time, and it's right here. So while I'm answering this question, Mike, since we're talking about top speed, 2 adult hosts, we can do this properly. Thanks, Logan, for being on vacation. Back to the Honda question. So I went back and I said, okay, doesn't matter what brand of sprocket it is. We're just spinning circles here. Man, you pour those things like Johnny Campbell. we had Johnny on the show, and it wasn't cheap tequila either. It was some really expensive stuff, and we had bigger glasses. That's why I started going to the small ones. So the size of the sprocket for sure, because I think stock is 49, and you went down to 48. And I'm going off of just my memory. Mm-hmm. But so I asked him, was there wind? What tire, or were we on gravel or dirt and all this other stuff? So when I did that video, I was on pavement, and just a paved road that's really not even really a road, because I wouldn't want to break any laws. So I was going down a paved road, and it was completely level, and there was no wind. And so he came back and said no wind, gravel road. Mm-hmm. And then he said Dunlop AT81, which I think is the stock tire, I'm pretty sure. And but he's worried about his clutch slipping and why it wouldn't go 96 miles an hour. And I was on pavement and he was on dirt. That is the difference right there. And his tire is probably spinning. So I would actually dig deeper and go, okay, Mason, what do you weigh? And he's probably thinking that's a mean question. But if you're heavier, you're going to go faster because you're going to get better traction, which I always piss me off when we do top speeds testing, like with Danny Hamill. And Danny could always go like 3 or 4 miles an hour faster than me, whether it was a dry lake bed or it was more so on the dry lake bed where we test. But on the pavement, whenever they pull the radar gun, Danny is always faster. And I mean, yeah, he was faster, of course, but he was faster. And I did all my tucking and all my stuff. And it went to like, it just had to do with weight or the fact that he was just a more aerodynamic shape when he was on the motorcycle. But or he
You're more
he talked about stretching the throttle cable. Maybe Danny just stretched the throttle cable farther than me. I don't know. But it all comes down to traction at that point. And if it's going 85 and mine was going 96, that's probably a lot of spinning. But what I wanted to get deeper, since you brought the clutch, and then he talked about his clutch, and he said there was 1/8 of an inch of, basically he was describing the play in the free play in his lever, which is really good on that bike. It's important to have some free play in your lever, because if it's tight and it starts slipping, it's only going to get tighter.
It's partially
it'll make it start slipping. Gotcha. And as it slips, it'll heat up and it'll slip more. And it depends on the activation of your clutch. You know, some clutches get loose when they get hot. The Honda gets tight when it gets hot, which is kind of a bad thing if you allow it to get tight. So I got stereos going by. I wonder if you can hear that in the microphone, can't you?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, and we usually have the Willy Boys ripping up and down the street, and that affects the sound quality. Now we got people with bigger stereos than me. So if it, and here's the question you ask, if the clutch is slipping, it's possible, but there's a real easy way to tell. And what I tell people to do is to find a really good traction surface like pavement and put a really good load. So, you know, get it to where it's going and then drag the rear brake. So do not touch the clutch, just drag the rear brake. And as you drag the rear brake, if it bogs the motor down, you know, quite a bit, and you keep pushing on the brake more and more, and it bogs it down to where it's going to stall, or not totally where it's going to stall, but it brings it down. Mm-hmm. Your clutch is good. Okay. But if you're riding along and you drag your rear brake and you push more, and you notice that the motor doesn't bog down, your clutch is slipping.
Gotcha. Okay, just put more resistance on the clutch.
Yeah, and so I mostly notice this with guys on cable actuated adventure bikes that are having a hard time with their clutch because they're slipping. They're basically trying to take a motor that's making at the time 30 or 40 horsepower, and they're trying to reduce it down to like 5 or 6 because that's all they really needed. So they turn the throttle too much and start slipping the clutch or pumping the clutch or whatever, and the clutch heats up and they go, "It's my clutch fried." So I hop on their bike, and this is what I do. I hop on their bike, and I can do it on dirt because I know that once I start loading the brake, the traction doesn't matter too much anymore because the brake is what's determining. And then I just start riding the brake, and I got the bike, no clutch, the clutch is completely disengaged, and I start just dragging the brake and lifting it up and dragging the brake and lifting it up, and that's going to determine the tone of the motor. If when I drag the brake, it doesn't affect the tone of the motor, the pull of the motor, the right amount, then I know the clutch is slipping. And if I really want to test it, then I'm dragging the brake, and then I touch the clutch a little bit. And when you touch the clutch, if it revs up and you let go of the clutch and it drops right back down, guess what? Clutch is good.
Gotcha.
If you touch the clutch, and you're still not in the super danger zone with the clutch. If you're dragging, you touch the clutch and it revs up, and then it takes a long time to bog right down. It doesn't bog right down. Getting worse. You know, the plates, I'll call them glazed. Okay. They're not fried yet. They're glazed because it doesn't want to, when you let it back out, it takes a while for it to settle back in.
So it's barely gripping instead of.
Yeah. So that's how you test the clutch. If you're worried if your clutch is slipping, let go of it, get it going, let go of it, hold the throttle on, drag the brakes. And if that doesn't bog the motor down, you're having an issue.
How would you,
peanut gallery.
Why does he want to go 92 miles an hour?
Because you want to know how fast your bike goes, Bob. That's all we do. Have you ever seen my episodes of I've Got You in My Pocket on Instagram? It's what all the kids were into about 3 or 4 or 5, 7 years ago. Well, they're all going to come back because TikTok's bad now.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but everybody wants to go that fast.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good for you.
I got a question on that one.
Right.
Altitude. What you're doing that out your backyard here?
At 2,600 feet, and I did that other test at 3,500 is where I got 96. Out,
How big if you went up to 5,000, 6,000, how would you?
altitude affects it a little bit, but not.
I'm just talking engine power.
Yeah, since it's fuel injected, as you go up, you're going to lose a little bit, but I don't really know I'm sure there's people that are way smarter than me that can factor in the altitude correction.
Okay, that was just the first thing that jumped in my mind was because I'm in Reno, I'm at 5,000 feet.
Yeah, it shouldn't affect it that much, but the air gets thinner, and then there's less air pushing against you, right, Bob?
Yeah, but you're also way down on power.
Way down on power. Yeah. It's, who was giving us our formulas for? What was his name? Is that
The swing arm guy?
the swing arm guy?
Call him right now.
Land. And people think I just butcher the names when I have to read them. He'll probably, well, he's robotics, so we need an aerodynamicist. Bob, aerodynamicist. Get somebody to figure it out.
Hook it up. Yeah. Someone's gotten to somebody.
Okay. So, Mason, hopefully I answered your question. I think your bike's fine. I would, if you have the opportunity to be able to try it on a better traction situation, be careful with that, because I think your microphone is right there, Mike.
Oh.
You're scratching your microphone with the
whole separate microphone.
Yeah, we're on a different program today.
This is all new. Okay, so my fidgeting's been like right there. Okay, I'm done. I'll just sit on my hands.
So, you sound good in this, which is going to be the podcast audio, which is the important part.
Okay, good.
So
that's where your fans all around the world congregate around the radio with their family and just
yeah, like the old days. Hey, Bob, go out and tell Erica she can come in and visit us at the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
You want to hit this?
Well, somebody's got to talk because
You're
it's.
doing the whole, not if you slam the whole thing.
Cheers, yeah. Oh, that's sipping tequila, by the way.
No. I had a couple too many at the cabin, and I had to put myself to bed at 9 o'clock.
The Fortaleza was really good tequila, by the way. If you're into good tequila. So the next, I don't see any new ones in the chat room. What is our next question?
Okay, so we're moving on to the question that's
the long one.
This is the long one.
Okay,
this could be the toughest question. And
toughest question of the night.
Tech Talk history. Can-Am Dennis 68 writes, "Hey, I have one for you guys. Why has Yamaha quit making the WR250R for 2021?"
Oh, that's a quick one. I reached out. Who asked that question?
Can-Am Dennis.
Can-Am Dennis. I reached out and asked Yamaha for that, and their media representative is on vacation, so I can't get the straight answer to that. I didn't know that they'd stopped making that bike. So that is the kind of the dual sporty street version WR. It's not the. That's the problem. Is Yamaha has to. I got mad when Honda renamed all their bikes CRFs because I liked XR but I knew what it was. But Yamaha has two different WRs, and one's quote a street bike and one is an off-road bike, but they're still called WR. So I just wanted her up in the front, not to make. She's like a tap dancer on the microphones. Well, I didn't want to drop you on the floor. So, okay.
There you go, Heather. You saw the dog.
Yeah.
That was her big reveal right there.
The next question.
Okay, I'll finish that one up. Yamaha quit that. So, that's actually his question one is actually his question number two. So,
no, actually, I think somehow or another, his name is at the very end of the question.
See, you got formatting issues going on here. For a guest speaker, it's pretty tricky to navigate.
Everybody really doesn't understand how difficult your job really is.
I know. I know you got your own system. You're a pro. So
At
what? Media.
Not this.
No, something else. Are you offering classes this fall?
Yes.
Okay.
We are in the process of making sure that happens, but we're just have to abide by all the new regulations and rules and find out what we're allowed to do. And yeah, we're going to be having some schools.
Okay, cool. Rest of the question is, I'm just now catching up to the episodes that occurred since COVID, so maybe you've discussed this. I think we just did. I'm definitely going to sign up. I've taken classes from Shane Watts, Gary LaPlante. I want to learn more. I also bought an older ADV bike, so excited to work on skills in both areas. Let me know if you have anything for dates. What do you got? What's coming up?
So we don't have any announced dates, but the best thing always to do, I tell people, just sign up for our newsletter, and then you will know when we announce it. You'll know right away and be able to do stuff. So
yeah. I want to actually get down as you guys get going. I've ridden a bunch of miles, but it's just me out by myself bumbling around, and never had any formal instruction. And formal instruction goes a long way.
It does, and that some people just don't like doing that, and other people would really enjoy training and learning that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll have schools again, and and when I start breaking into telling you how to ride, when you're asking me a question about your bike, and I just trip off the deep end, and I'm like, well, it's the way you ride, kind of like we were talking about how people on adventure bikes take 45 horsepower and turn it down into 5 with their clutch. I think what they're trying to do is just generate heat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
keep your legs warm.
This portion of this show is brought to you by Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training. You can check us out on the web at www.jimmylewisoffroad.com for our newly designed website. And we're going to be having schools up in Washington State before we have schools down here in Nevada. So just sign up for that newsletter. Continue.
I'm still trying to figure out where question 1 ends and where question 2 begins, because it's really confusing.
I remember the guy.
Help me, master.
I remember the question. I remember the guy's name.
Question 1. It's all his bike info.
Oh yeah. So this is.
I get the bottom page 2.
Wow.
Sure.
I know this is. His name is Ben Anderson, by the way. Wow, that's a page and a half long question.
Ben's at the end. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Ben Anderson.
Mason's at the top.
Asks, he's going to give you all of his stats. He's another guy. He's claiming that he's shorter of inseam for his height, long torso, and arms. So just if you're a gear manufacturer, there's another one. Maybe just short, larger people listen to this show. Maybe
it's a big market.
And obviously bald people don't listen to it because they wouldn't be picking on us. His goal is to be a strong rider in crazy tight single track mountains and enter some local enduros and hare scrambles. Right now I ride trails in central Washington, and he says he has he wanted a 790, a KTM 790, but he's just getting into ADV. So he purchased a 2010 F800 GS. Remember that bike I was talking about where the rider slipped the clutch all the time and they asked me if it's slipping?
Yeah.
That bike.
That's it.
Okay. We're still talking about riding habits and stuff. He's talking about his WR450, that he said it was a lot of bike for him. And then he realized he needed some better skills. And then when the 350 came out, he bought one, and he has the 2016 FE350. And he said he had a terrible time getting accustomed to that bike. I assumed it was just Euro versus Japanese framing geometry and poor riding position. I've learned to ride much further forward on the bike, which has helped a ton. Eventually had the suspension done and bought a cheater tire, and that helped a lot too, for a while. He says, I stand as much as possible, 80% of the time, so now that is about where I am standing. There is nothing wrong with the bike. It is mostly me. Here we go. Here's the question. Dive into the question.
You found it.
Recently, though, I checked the sag and it was off by 36 millimeters, probably due to some weight gain. So here's where we have to do the math. And if it's 36 millimeters and he's calling weight gain, I think he's 36 millimeters too deep into the stroke, so too much. So instead of being around 105, he's at 145. That's just rough math, doing it in my head. And I'm hoping I'm going the right direction, because the other direction, I'm suspecting his spring was completely topped out. But anyhow, so probably due to some weight gain and the additional of huge Vesto tools, which I'm now reconsidering. Probably because he watched Show Climb Your Junk and realized you don't have to carry that much stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'll need a heavier spring and probably a full service on the forks, because it's been 3 years. The shock more than the forks. Just think about how much fluid's inside there and how much heat it's contained in. So yeah, if you're gonna do your suspension, do fork and shocks, have them serviced. back to his question. Everyone complains about the 4CS fork, but to be honest, I can't tell if they're good or bad or need adjusting. Not sure since any service would help. I'm mostly concerned about the sag at the moment. Also, have decided to add a recluse. Okay, now we're just going off in left field. Here's another one of my pet peeves. One modification at a time. A recluse is a great idea. No problem adding the recluse. I have one on almost every one of my personal bikes. Back to the question. I love using my clutch, but occasionally I stall on steep downhills and an unexpected switchbacks, so I figure the recluse would save me in those situations, and otherwise I can ignore it. That's question one. So this is why I didn't have to put a whole lot of questions. We're going to break this down. We're going to break it down.
Drop it.
So I'm glad he finally measured his sag, because the first thing you should always do on your bike when you start feeling like there's a handling issue is make sure your sag is where it's supposed to be. And sag will tell you, for the most part, whether you have the proper spring on the back of the bike. If you can't get a proper, what we call it, a static sag and then rider sag, so sag of just the bike, which is usually about 30 millimeters, 30 to 40 millimeters, and then you should sit on it. It should be about 100 to 110. So you're in those two ranges. You on the bike, 110, 105, somewhere there. You off the bike, 35 to 40.
He's on a linkage bike.
He's on a linkage bike. Doesn't matter. Same thing. We're just being general here.
Okay.
So, a linkage bike maybe it sags a little bit more. So it'd be more like 45. And the owner's manual will tell exactly what your sag and your static sag and sag should be. So it's good that he found that. When you're down an extra 30 millimeters, that's way, way off. That's to the point where I'm unscrewing the shock spring so I can put my feet on the ground, and then we have a rider problem. It's like, you don't ride with your feet on the ground. It shouldn't be a concern. We need to think about something else, because you're really making the bike handle funny. If it's down that low, I don't care how far over the front of the bike you get, you're probably not going to
Get it.
bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're compensating with your body position for that amount of sag, you're definitely putting too much weight on your handlebars, and you're probably having to do a push-up on the handlebars, which is different than the way most people ride, because most people are hanging on to the handlebars as opposed to pushing down on them when they ride. They're hanging on. But
they're too far back. And
you want to know on my super? I never tell anybody this, but it's super top secret. You want to know?
This is the place to keep secrets. Yeah,
right?
Go for it.
Because nobody listens. Like 3 people listen to this
It's
show.
just Jimmy and I here.
It's just Jimmy and Bob and Erica just showed up. Yeah. Hi, Erica.
Hello, Erica.
Yeah. Another person in the peanut gallery. You're free to ask questions, by the way. So here's the thing you need to know if you want to know if you're doing it right when you're riding. You want to know what you have to ask yourself? Can I let go of the handlebars? And if the answer is no, you're not in the right riding position. You're not in the proper body position. That's it.
Are there situations where picturing riding, that holds true most of the time? Are there situations where you think, no, this doesn't apply now? I should have a chunk of control on the bars that's like sort of out of balance?
In my very idealized way of teaching, you steer the motorcycle with your feet, and you're turning and controlling it. You're basically initiating turns. You're getting it to lean and steer where you want it to go by your weight bias, how you're moving the bike around using your weight influence through the foot pegs. And then magically, the handlebars will do what they need to do. They will magically steer. So if you have to push and pull and twist on the handlebars, you're compensating for something that's wrong. A very, very idealized way of thinking about it, but this is the way so you can break it down what you're doing. So if you're putting energy into the handlebars, if you're twisting or pulling or doing something like that, you're giving away an extra added control that you could put in when you really need to. So if you want to correct something, you can do that, but you don't want to constantly be correcting through the handlebars the whole time you're riding, which is what most riders do. So if you're riding and you're putting this 30% weight bias up onto the handlebars, you're giving away 30% extra control that you could use when you really need it to re-control the bike. So if that bike is that out of balance and you're compensating with your body position, and I would be willing to bet more money than I can afford to lose. Thanks, Martin. That he is not really standing up. He's doing some sort of controlled squat and then hovering or doing a push up or a pull up or whatever on the handlebar. So that's just a guess because I see it a lot of times. So the SAG has thrown everything out the window. So you can't even say European versus Japanese handling. There's none of that. I will tell you that the KTMs tend to have a lighter steering feel and a more I want to call it, I don't want to call it precise because that would be taken away from some bikes that have a different sort of precision feel. It's probably I would say they have some of the lightest steering feel of all the bikes that I've ridden, especially if your sag is 36 millimeters too low. It would get extremely light because you're just taking weight off of it. But then the funny thing is at that point you're getting the bike to squat back down and you're kind of kicking out the rake. And so then all of a sudden some of that stuff that used to be precision steering is now lazy, non-responsive
because of like the chopper.
Yeah, you get sort of the chopper effect, and then it also really stretches out the trail. You know, when all of a sudden the forks start angling back, and you know the angle of the trail, and then the way that the bike flops. Instead of steering on the bottom of the tire, you're steering on the back of the tire. So that's why sometimes it helps for stability. You know, to lower the bike a little bit, but maybe not necessarily that much.
An inch and a half.
So hopefully that. Ben, yeah. Hopefully, Ben, that answered the question. Phase 1, recluse clutch, always a good idea. So can't really talk to you about that. Other than when you talk about the stalling and stuff like that, most of that will go away with a recluse because all of a sudden it does all that stuff for you. And just watch some of the videos we have on setting up recluse clutches on dirt bike test and so when you get it, you can tune in to, you know, how to get it properly set up for your riding conditions. So did I do good?
I think you did. You found the questions. Did better than I did.
Okay. So next question. It's a 2-part question.
If he's stalling when he's going downhill, is he just locking up the rear? Is that
Could be. We don't know. We weren't there. But you can lock up the rear all day as long as you make sure that you're covering the clutch and you're not letting it stall. But you think about it, and here's the problem. It's probably 80% of that having that ability to control the bike, the finger on the clutch and the controlling the rear brake, and then you're doing some sort of kind of strange controlled squat on the motorcycle. Since you're not balanced on your own motorcycle. It's difficult. Think about like trying to lift some dumbbells. You own a gym. Think about trying to hold a dumbbell and then work a clutch and lift a dumbbell with your foot and push a brake. And then being a little bit out of balance, it's hard.
Yeah.
So the more balanced you are on the bike and everything, it makes it easier. And another question.
You remember when the high performance 4-strokes first came?
High performance 4-strokes. Yep.
The moto head started riding them. And they wouldn't finish a moto because they had no clutch left because they rode it like a 2-stroke.
Yeah, they were slipping the clutch all the time. Yeah. People just don't trust the torque of the bikes, or I think a lot of that was in the early days the carburetors are so bad that they stalled. So they didn't want them to stall because they also didn't start. So they were just. They wouldn't let them idle down.
Just revving the whole time.
Yeah, they're just like revving and slipping the clutch, and so they were reducing the power with the clutch, which is another thing that you shouldn't do. So, okay, on to the next question. Here we go.
What year did high performance 4-strokes come out? That was
YZ400 was 1998, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
but that was kind of the first Japanese one. So there's this brand I know a little bit about. You might be familiar with it. Do you know what I'm going to talk about here?
The white ones.
They were blue back then.
Oh,
yeah, kind of like
my day, man.
Husabergs.
Yeah,
Husabergs.
Oh, okay.
And then Husabergs and Huskies, and there was Husky started making them before Husaberg because all the guys that made the Husaberg were the guys that made the Husky. So those were the original, lightweight, high performance 4-strokes. They determined in their crazy ass mind, and it was never going to work, that they could build a 4-stroke that was better than a 2-stroke in 1982, 83. When did that first Impossible Start Husky four-stroke? Oh yeah, only when it got hot. Yeah, but that's when they started making. They said we can do this, and then 15 years later, it actually, since the Japanese company did it, it was proven that it worked. But they'd already won a world motocross championship on the Husky, and they were starting to get very, very competitive in enduros, high level enduro competition.
So what year was that the four strokes sort of took over the two strokes for like motocross class?
The minute they were introduced.
Really?
Like literally the minute you could buy a YZ400, a 252 stroke was obsolete, because the 400 4-stroke, even then, it was so much easier to get a hole shot on it, get a great start, because you didn't have to shift. You could come off the line smoother, and you didn't have to shift as much down a start straight away. So less shifts equals more on the gas,
broader power,
flat torque curve, and that was just when they got started. And then when they started releasing 254 strokes, the minute they did that, the 125 was literally dead. I mean, sure, at the top levels, the factory teams were racing 125s and getting away with it, but all of a sudden you have a bike that makes like 30% more power, and it delivers power in probably a 40% wider RPM range. Mm-hmm. Game over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, game over.
So favorite question 2?
Yeah, sure.
All right, this is still going back to Ben Anderson. Question 2. He's getting ready to get his suspension service, adding a recluse clutch, swapping tires, and getting the bike in for standard servicing. This is going to cost him between $2,000 and $3,000. So his question is, should I be looking at getting a new bike instead of sinking all that money in my existing bike?
That is a really good question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So his bike is a 2016. Yes. 2016.
Yeah, WR450.
No. He's a FE 350.
Oh,
Husky.
God. Okay, sorry. Next line.
Right. So, so your bike's not outdated, and I always say every 3 years, on most models, 3 to 4 years, especially KTM's, you will notice a marked improvement in the bike, and it's probably stuff that you can't buy. It's some chassis changes that you can't buy these chassis changes.
Moving that back shock mount.
Yeah, moving the shock mount or changing the frame rails, and it's funny because now they'll call a bike that looks almost the same, like the YZ. Can we talk about YZ450? No, I can't talk about it yet. I can't talk about it till tomorrow. They didn't change much on it, but they can't talk about it till tomorrow. But when manufacturers, they make a lot of changes on it, but it looks the same, but they change the frame, the spars on the frame, or they change the cylinder head and maybe the length of the connecting rod. And they call those like all new models now. And it's probably not like, when you see one go from a completely different frame design or something. Mm-hmm. But every 3 or so years, if you go from a 2016 to a 20, just for instance, that's 4 years, but it's probably stuff that you can't buy for your 16 to make it into the 20.
Yeah, it's like a new body style, actually.
Yeah, there's something that's changed that's going to be hard to accomplish using aftermarket. Mm-hmm. But it's not so much that bike is obsolete. And and when it becomes obsolete really kind of depends on your ability level and how much you can really take advantage of the bike, or if you're using the bike for the right purpose, and a lot of things like that. So I don't think your bike's outdated, and if you really like it, I wouldn't have a problem spending $2,000 to $3,000 on it, because it's good for another 5 or 6 years. That bike, I mean, I'm riding a 2012 KTM 500 quite a bit. More than anything else I'm riding right now. And I have what year's yours, Bob?
2017.
So 17.
2017.
Yeah, so 17, I haven't even ridden it. And I have it. It's sitting there. I could ride it, but I haven't ridden it because I don't need to, because it's not that much of an improvement for what I'm doing. And then I've ridden the 20, and it's the same thing. That's the next evolution. And between the 12 and the 20, yes, there's a weight feel difference, and there's engine character difference. And is it better? I think if you're kind of going with, you want to, it's different. And if you've gotten used to what you're on, the different may not be better, but as you ride it more, you start to appreciate what that different is. And I find this all the time, is that as long as I don't ride that new one too much, I don't mind my old one that much. But if I ride that new one a lot, I go back to my old one and I notice,
you kind of don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, like, hey, this throttle response has gotten a little better. This lighter motor that doesn't feel as powerful is actually just has a better power delivery or more torque. You know, what you really use, torque. It may not make as much horsepower for some strange reason, but like, when am I riding that bike needing peak horsepower? It's like the rideability became better on stuff. And that's what it's funny because before with motocross bikes, even competition bikes, they were just power. You know, they're talking about how much power made.
Yeah.
And now they're really focusing on, I think Honda, like their whole thing on their new 450 is just better control. They want to give you better control. Drivability is what it comes down to. They actually are saying that out loud before, because when you said that out loud, it makes less power. And that bike has been the bike that's been making kind of the most power in the 450 class, and now they're going along with like drivability. So
yeah, that's tough though. It's not as sexy of a headline though. I mean, you want to say like most powerful bike. That's an easy headline to write, but
yeah, I think and maybe they're kind of convinced that they already have it. They might think that they have it, so it's like, okay, now we're going to have it and market on top of that. But it doesn't matter what they say in marketing; it's how it actually kind of turns out and works on the track. And I know guys that have ridden that bike, and they say that yeah, on the track it's noticeable. It's good. So I don't know. I won't know until I ride it, but good people have told me good things.
Okay, cool. That's that basic part of the question. He said his bike has 500 hours on it, and would you recommend?
Okay, so
350, 300, YZ, 250.
Oh, he's if he gets a new bike,
he's already shopping. Yeah, yeah. He's been in the dealership a few times, I think.
So this is how one question could take over the entire show.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't even gotten into chassis geometry and swing arm angles yet, which we're over that at this point. So here's the thing. It's like, do you want to start over? Because more than likely, like some of these modifications that you want to do to your current bike, you would probably want to do to a new stock one also. So let's just say Recluse. They don't come with Recluse yet. So your Recluse, that's still, you're going to spend $800 on your new Recluse. And so if you have price of a new bike, I don't think 500 hours is all that much on a KTM 350. I mean, when you start getting up there around 1,000, then you're into for most people, the mystery zone. And I'm getting up there on my bikes, and I'm still not looking to sell them because they have 1,000 hours on them. So that's not the problem. But if what is it? Let me see his question exactly on the thing there. Let's see. If I went new, would you recommend a 350, a 300, a YZ250FX, or something else? So you just went down like 3 different categories of bikes. I've never owned a 2-stroke except my son's 200XCW, which is a blast. I have one, and somebody offered me some money for it, and I'm thinking, do I take that money and go get a 300 because that's what I really want? I rode a friend's 2018 300 6 days and thought it felt amazingly light, and I had more fun and I was more confident. Like, it helped me ride better, though I know it really isn't the whole story. I need to put a better rider on the bike. Well, hey, you read my logo on my T-shirt.
I wonder how would you accomplish that? Becoming a better rider.
Yeah, just JimmyLewisOffroadTraining.com. No, JimmyLewisOffroad.com. Yeah, whatever.
Offroadwithjimmy.com.
Yeah, offroadwithjimmy.com. Ask George; he'll put the link up in the site.
Now you cyber squatters taking up all your web domains.
Oh, they've tried it before. So when you start talking about going to another bike, I don't know. I mean, I'm asking myself the same question. I'm sitting here waiting for the right excuse to buy. I'm actually waiting for George to buy a new KTM 2-stroke, and then I'll just buy his old one. Or maybe what I'll have him do is I'll have him buy a brand new 300, and then he'll have me ride it, and then I'll go, man, I like your old one better, and then proceed to buy the new one out from under him because I hope he's not listening.
That's a good move.
Yeah. So
I just learned something right there.
yeah, no, about me.
No, just the switcheroo on bike purchasing. I think it's great.
Bikes are all good. I've heard through the rumor mill that I've driven up the price of the Husaberg 570s on the market.
Oh, really? Just speculative buyers?
Yeah, speculative buyers and people that own them, and they've had to work on them, and then they develop the love-hate relationship that I have with them. Mm-hmm. Have I ever told you about my Husaberg 570?
I've heard stories about it.
Do you know what it has?
No.
A lot of power.
A lot of power?
I mean, like a lot.
Just tire shredding power?
Remember, we don't care about that right now. It's just how much power it has. Remember yesterday when you were driving your truck and you were driving it and it had a lot of power, and then it had not a lot?
None. Yeah, I remember that yesterday.
Right. So that's what it feels like when I get on every other motorcycle after I rode my Husaberg. They just don't have that much power. I had to do that because the last show, you should ask me about this cut on my face. The last show I forgot to mention my Husaberg.
So, Jimmy, I could be like your Ed McMahon, hang out, laugh at your joke. Hey, tell us what happened to your face.
You're gonna have to knock Logan off.
No, we can coexist, dude.
Yeah, coexist. Yeah, Chai takes up the empty space, the 6 feet distance.
Yeah.
It's a secret. I really can't talk about it. It was all bruised though. You saw it like on the other day. Yeah, it's bad.
Helmet on. Now it's ugly.
I was wearing an Alpine Stars helmet, their new helmet, and I was riding up a hill at Glen Helen, and I had a YZ450 wide open. I mean, I was pinned, and basically, it was really slippery. Because they'd been watering, it was just watering, and it was late in the afternoon, and there was those cut bumps, and I don't know exactly what happened. Hence, my head hit the ground so stinking hard. It was pinned to face plant, and I didn't lose consciousness, but I did kind of see stars, and I was on the uphill, looking down at the bike. So I went over the handlebars. And like I said, my hands did not come off the handlebars when I hit the ground because I think it was sliding, and I think the front end was light, unweighted. I think I set it down in like a rut, kind of like and it kind of cross rutted, and at the same time the bike grabbed traction and it just like spun it around or through. I don't know. I wish I could visualize that 1/2 a second where I went from everything was great to facing the ground. But I hit hard enough to where, I was dingy, and I'm standing there looking at the slide marks. You know, you could tell I was looking at where the bike landed, and I could see my line where I'd gone through the mud and stuff. And I was just trying to figure out how the heck
the slide marks from your body.
No, the body didn't slide. The body stuck. My head stuck.
That's even worse. So
the helmet doesn't have a whole lot of scratches on it, but it absolutely did its job. The whole, like I said, the whole side of my face is bruised. This is from my goggle. My goggle, the inside where it holds the foam kind of went in and kind of pressed and cut. I had a bruise on the upper part of the other side of my nose. I have kind of scabbies around
still there.
My eyelids because it smashed hard enough where that whole helmet, and the helmet had MIPS in it, which is that technology that allows the helmet to slide around the foam. So it's like it separates the liner from the foam and is bolted in, so it slips. So I think what happened is it impacted and then it slid. And so there's the bruising, which is a lot of it, and then most of the other marks are burns. Literally, it's like from the friction. I think, like I was saying, so I had, I don't know, what's his name? Lad?
He should figure it out for you.
The forces of 200-pound Jimmy at 22 miles an hour at the 45-degree angle of the Glen Helen Hill.
19 gigawatts to your face.
Whatever. Oh, man. So, F equals MA.
So is that helmet junk now?
I haven't pulled it apart to look at it yet. Like I said, I externally looked at the outside, and I had washed the liner before, so I just put the liner back in, and I remembered how I'm like, oh, this MIPS, blah blah blah, and I remember how slippery that particular helmet's MIPS was. But I'm going to go in and look very closely at the foam. I got back here, and then we hopped in trucks and went driving all over the desert for the last few days. Yeah. Well, we tried to. Well,
we drove over 90% of the desert.
Well, two of us have trucks that were physically dead at the end of the driving. And now at least one of them still runs.
2 out of 2.
Yeah, 2 out of 2.
Death ratio.
Well, everybody asks me, why do you have so many trucks? I'm like, because I use them. That way, when one's dead, we tow it back here and hop in another one and take off. So I haven't had a chance to analyze the helmet, but I'm fully convinced that the helmet absolutely did its job. I hate to test helmets like that, but now I've tested it to.
Were you wearing a neck support?
No, don't wear those.
Like that?
No, I've never. I've tried them and haven't not been a fan. But the way that I hit, it wouldn't have been it wasn't a neck. Like I said, it kind of came. It kind of came in the side, and So all things considered, I picked myself up and I'm like, okay, I got to stop riding because I'm like I got a little concussed. Rode back to the truck and I remember I felt fine from riding all the way there back to the truck. When I sat down at the truck, I couldn't remember where on the track I crashed. And I was there and I felt like I was all there, but I'm like, I'm not here. This isn't good. So yeah, I had some people keep an eye on me and didn't go to sleep till a lot later on that evening and till made sure everything was okay. So, I did the concussion protocol. What were we talking about again?
Yeah. How many high lives is the concussion protocol?
No, it's 0.
Oh,
yeah. Stayed. I didn't have one until like the last hour of driving. Heather was driving, but the last, because we drove back out here afterwards. I drove back to California, and I came back out here because we had to leave. So I might have had a Miller High Life at the end of the evening.
Okay, maybe you should just maybe chill out a little bit too.
I did. I haven't ridden a motorcycle since then. I just blew truck up. Yeah, probably I wasn't myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else you got in the chat room there?
We have questions? We have a question. Hey, interesting news. Suzuki, because it introduces they have a tuner. They call it new MX Tuner 2.0, which looks very much like a GET system that now they have a plug into their ECU. So what really sucks is I like that stuff. I like playing with it. I think it's awesome. We just gave back our RMZ 250, and I could have played with it on that. So because they haven't changed it for a while. So
it was tuner compatible.
Yeah, you could plug it. You could buy. It's about a $500 kit, that you can get. But it's like buying 15 pipes and 20 carburetors. We don't have carburetors, but a couple different ignitions. The tuners are the best thing.
Like that many combinations of setups.
Yeah, you got a million combinations. Mm-hmm. You can make the bike work how it wants to. And the interesting thing is you can program a different map to each one of their clips. They have clips that go on the, they have a traction one or leaner and richer, I think they call their clips. But you can program different maps into the clip, so you could program a couple things and just clip a new one on.
Oh, that's like a little dongle you can actually plug in without having to do it full. Oh, that's cool.
I wish they were like Yamaha, which has a button that you just push one button and you have two different maps ready to go. But whatever works. So Brian Walker has a question.
Let's get down with Brian Walker. Thanks for tuning in. I'll just jump right to your question on moose, bib mooses. Pretty interesting. Bib moose.
Oh, no, Brian Walker right there. Wouldn't you be... That's a question.
That's a question.
That's a question.
Dude, you're better at deciphering what's a question than I am.
You have to read everything. That's what Logan does. Logan doesn't think he just operates.
I'm trying to do editorial thing right now and it's not working.
Right. So Logan sees me grab this and he just starts reading the question.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll grab a bottle opener for you instead.
Yeah, that's good because you kind of cut me off there with this twist off thing.
Sorry. I thought we were gonna assistance in the whole thing up here, just handing us
It's good. It's a show that keeps on giving.
Right. Here we go. Brian Walker riding a CRF 250L. His question: wouldn't you be wide open in the sixth gear on the freeway? Seems to me that would be a super valuable adjustment that you would use frequently. Humbly asking, am I wrong?
So I think what Brian is trying to say is at freeway speed, you're going to be wide open on a CRF 250L in sixth gear. Yes, probably. And you're probably going to be getting passed because most people go 80 and 90 on the freeway and that CRF likes to go about 70. So is it a problem? No. That bike is designed to run. I guarantee that thing will run. You could hop on the freeway right now, hold it wide open for 100 hours if you keep gas going into it, and it would be fine. Mm-hmm. So no, it's not an issue, and it's not anything to worry about. And yes, you would be wide open. And on small displacement bikes like that, the what we'll call the not the high performance 250 4-strokes, but the ones that are built into dual sport platforms and play bike platforms, you can hold those things wide open all day long if you left them mostly stock, and you're not going to have any issues at all. So Brian, pin it.
Don't trip.
Yeah, pin it.
Change gearing?
No, because it won't pull. Like, I think I don't recall it. So here's where I can't remember because too many bikes. I don't know if that has a 5 or 6 speed in there. I think it has a 5 speed.
His question says six gears.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a 6 gear? Wouldn't you be in 6 gear? So maybe it does have a 6 gear.
Wouldn't you be wide open and in 6 gear?
Yeah. So whatever top gear is, if it's a 5 speed, for sure, 5th is giving you top speed. But on some of the bikes that have the 6 speed gears, sometimes sixth gear is not where you're going to get top speed. You'll actually get top speed in 5th. 6th gear allows you to shift into somewhat of an overdrive, or it allows for going faster on downhills. Because if you're 5th gear, if you're topped out in 5th gear and flat, if you go down a downhill, you start hitting the rev limiter in 5th gear going down the hill.
Yeah, 6th gear.
That's the way I used to gear my 125s that were faster than everybody else's.
I heard you were in 7th gear when you had
7th.
your face action. Yeah.
No.
7th gear. He's got custom trannies, people. It's fully custom.
Can't remember.
Brian Walker, next question. Bib Moose Lube for tubes, Jimmy. Think about it. I came across this online. The back of a Michelin gel lubricant tube reads, using half a tube of gel per tire with an inner tube will reduce risk of puncture due to shocks or nipping in the off-road or enduro competitions. Keeping the tubes from tire wear and overheating, plus reducing potential pinch flats, seems like a good idea. Have you tried this? Question. What do you think? Question. Is it too messy for field repair? Question. Or is it just a waste of time?
So he's asking about putting Bib Moose lube inside of a tube to lubricate the tube between the tire.
Exactly.
I have tried this because when I was racing with tubes, we tried a lot of different stuff. It wasn't specifically Bib Moose lube at the time. We tried Vaseline, and we also tried Murphy soap, just to see if it made any sort of a difference.
What'd you find?
We compared it to nothing, and we compared it to baby powder. And we found that it made not a lot of difference. Nothing that we could actually test. But I've always found that baby powder in the tire with the tube is probably the best thing, because it seems like even if you get it wet, it sort of dries itself back out, and it keeps some sort of a friction modifier, you would say, between the tube and the tire of some sort. And we're riding in dry most of the time. I don't know if I was riding in wet all the time, if that a good Moose lube that's more of a petroleum type jelly, not the Murphy soap, because the Murphy soap, this is anything I found that's a lube that's a soap tends to wash out. It like water will carry it away, where the oil seems like it wants to stay a little bit more.
Yeah, you need something oil based.
So I've always been a fan of just baby powder. A fair amount of baby powder in there kind of keeps the tube, which is your baby's butt, happy inside.
That's probably a little bit easier to if you are changing a flat, a little cleaner than having Moose.
And if you do have to patch it, you can wipe it off and clean it.
Glue to it.
Okay. So for sure, if you have something that's really slippery in there, it's going to be difficult to clean it off, to get it to stick a patch on there. Although most of us carry a spare tube, sort of a deal.
Yeah.
I think you're splitting hairs at that point. It may work better in some situations and stuff, but I mean at the cost of the lube versus baby powder, I would go with the baby powder, unless I'm riding in wet environments, and then. Where you just expect your inside of your tire to be wet all the time, maybe something like that might work. But isn't water kind of a lubricant too? Essentially, yeah. If it's wet inside there,
kinda
not as good as something oily.
Yeah.
Good. Run the test for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just run a Moose, and then you don't have to worry about that tube thing.
That's probably the actual solution. Just put a Moose in there. So, Brian Walker, run a Moose.
Run a Moose. Yeah.
There we go.
Say run a Moose.
We've spoken.
Is that it? Is that our question?
That's all.
That's
yeah.
That was the end. Is that the whole question? What's this one?
Oh God, dude! I think, I just probably should just read what's on the page and not even try and think.
I think we need to put 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what I had this pen for early on.
Right.
But I was scribbling all over the place.
Well, most of the time you're going like this with the pen.
Yeah, that kind of. I didn't really catch on to that for a while.
That's okay.
It's my first podcast. Brian Walker, let's get down with question number 3. Lastly, my son and I did some remodeling of our garage. Always good to do. The remodel includes a 2020 FE501 and a 2021 Tenere 700. Thanks for your in-depth reviews. Good job, Jimmy Lewis. Make sure those manufacturers have your address and get that mailbox money rolling in. Should be yours. Regardless, I plan to meet in the fall for some riding lessons. Thanks, Brownie.
Good. He's covered all the bases. The only thing he didn't do is buy a T-shirt.
Well, Brian,
yeah, you bought a T-shirt.
I did.
I remember I sent you some T-shirts.
I got crap all over it the second day later, so I need to buy a few more.
Hey, we're going to run back into the chat room and grab some of these questions. So Eduardo Rojas says, next Tuesday, show yours bikes. He says yours bikes for more interactive live show. Cheers. So, Eric, you going to be around next Tuesday? Well, so what we'll do is we'll move this whole table forward, and then you just ride one bike in right through the back of the set and out that door and just go get it. We'll just start cycling them through here, right into the shop. Actually, we could move this whole podcast into the shop, and then we'd lose all these wires, and then we have a horrible podcast. So we'll see about that. Chris Reel says from sea level to 5,000 feet.
Boom, he would know.
Not too much engine power change. Above 5,000 feet, it starts making a difference due to oxygen content in the air. So there we go, Mr. 85 miles an hour, and I got 96. I had better air. Now we were both at the same air level.
Okay.
Mike Spurgeon, that's Taco Mike. What's the typical horsepower loss of an O-ring chain versus an MX chain? Mike, you have to ask me that and tell me what temperature it is outside, because it's a factor of the temperature.
The temperature's 70.
Brenton says, dude, awesome. Who's dude? And who's awesome?
Not you, Ryan.
Let's see. Jeff Betnick says, I'm 6'5", 285 and bald, and we're not all short. Oh, my poor bikes.
Bald, he could come to your podcast.
And Mark Daniels is having a barbecue mesquite tri-tip pepper jack sourdough burgers in Pacifico.
Like right now?
Yeah. We had tri-tip the other night. Actually, I have some slices of that stuff left. That's what we're having for dinner.
Right on, we skipped lunch.
Dennis is checking in from Alaska. Let's see. And now they're talking about tri-tip in the chat room. Let's see. Mike says, Recluse reps have told me an XC clutch will help a bike run cooler and extend oil service life. To what level do you think those two things are true on, say, an XC350F? So he's talking about the full Recluse auto clutch. And why do you call it an XC? It's called what's the Recluse? It's called I'm drawing a blank here. What's the full clutch called? There's I think he's missing a letter.
The one that works like a clutch.
It does automatically. Yeah, it's called I should know this. EXP. He meant to say EXP, I think. That's why it just confused me. So EXP. So the EXP does all the clutching for you. And if and somebody called, actually my medical doctor called me and was saying, hey, I have a Recluse on my bike and my bike overheats more than my buddy's. And I'm like, well, are you pulling the clutch lever? And he's like, yeah. And I go, you're overheating it, not the Recluse. I can help him with some setup that'll make it less prevalent because I like them to engage at a lower RPM so they slip less. But so if you're using the Recluse properly, it absolutely will extend oil life and lower the temperature of the bike because you're not going to be slipping as much as most riders would. In other words, and if you're slipping your clutch less than a Recluse, you're probably stalling a lot. You're the kind of guy that stalls a lot because you're really not slipping it at all. And you need to slip a clutch in order not to stall. So if you're using it properly, you're letting it do its thing, you're fine. Here are the exceptions. Recluses work so good that I know that guys that ride 1 and sometimes 2 gears tall, Bob. Yeah, 4 gears tall. Yeah, Bob got a Recluse and he found out he could ride in 4th gear all the time. And then it mellowed his power delivery out to the level that he was accustomed to. And then he wondered why his bike was getting hot and his Recluse is getting. You stopped before it became too late? What'd you do?
No, it was the stupid operator. I mean, it was nothing.
Did you smoke it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
First time ever.
The very first Recluse I ever rode, it was actually, I rode a Revlock. And I also rode a Recluse. I did it on purpose because I realized how well they worked, and I wanted to know what it would take to fry the clutch. So I was down at Ducati on an XR 400. This tells you the time frame. We're talking in the 96, 97. And I was riding the bike in 3rd gear around 1st gear turns and stuff like that, and it worked amazing until all of a sudden it is like you felt it wasn't biting anymore. So, and XR 400s weren't necessarily known for having the best clutches because they would heat up and the oil would heat up. And here we go back to our original question about like the clutches. I'm like, whoa, it's working. I'm able to ride this bike fast and not do anything, just leaving 3rd gear and just screw the throttle on. Mm-hmm. But now it's not biting like it used to when I finally get it like up to the RPM where, it's locked and engaged. Now it's like not locked and not totally engaged, and it's slipping all the time. It's like I'm pulling my lever in just a little bit all the time, which is what happens. So if you do that, you will make it run hotter. If you use it properly, it's not an issue.
My 500 with the Recluse in 4th gear reminded me of the old Husky automatic, and I'm driving along going, well, I wonder how long this will last. And not very. Right.
Yeah. It's not a Husky automatic, but it probably lasts longer than those. Let's see. Dan Welsh, a lot of time on rear sag. What about the front? So the front's a little bit hard to adjust the sag on. Some bikes have adjustable. Actually, some of the Huskies and the KTM 6 days bikes have the preload adjusters. Adjust your rear sag first, and then if you want to make fine-tune adjustments, use the front. If you have adjustable on the front. So there's a measurement for it, so that you can tell. But most people, when they sit on their bike and when they check their sag and stuff, it's really not affecting the front as much because you're not really where you're going to be when you're riding. Because as you start riding and you start moving, you start getting forward on the bike, and it might have a little bit more of an effect there. It's just like it's air pressure when you have an air fork and different things. But the front is what I would call, the rear is tuning. The front is fine tuning. And until you're, I don't know if I would actually start playing with the front until I was pretty happy with what my rear suspension was doing overall. And then I would start thinking about what I want to do with the handling, and I would adjust it all in the back. And then when I felt like the back was working good and I don't want to mess with the way my rear shock is working, but I need a little more bite in the front, I might lessen the preload on the fork.
Get it.
Or add some. And hey, if you have 4CS forks, back to another question, we were talking about the 4CS forks, use the air pressure inside of that fork to help the quote problem everybody's talking about. Run your 4CS fork with a little bit of negative pressure. That's what I almost always did. Was I ran my 4CS fork, I would put like a air bleeder valve on it, and I would take the fork and I would sit on the bike and I would push it down about an inch or two in the stroke and bleed it off and then let it up and lift it up. So it was running negative air pressure in the forks. And that was one of the tricks to get that fork to work the way I wanted it to. I remember he said 4CS fork, and I kind of glassed over that.
So did that just pull the fork down, which would speed up the steering? But it's also like that's the spring pressures at the same time, right? So how does that work?
You're modifying something in there, and it just seemed like it just having that little bit of negative pressure allowed it to move the initial stroke to get it moving, because that's where they were known, because they had basically, I think the 4CS had an extra seal in there. There was an extra chamber, and there was an extra seal, and that extra seal was causing a little bit of extra stiction. And so by just giving it the ability to move, once it's moving, it's fine. That's part of the damping, but just to get it moving seemed to be where that fork suffered.
initial
So
hit.
having that little bit of negative pressure always, to me, seemed to help. And then also realize on those forks and most white WP forks in general, the compression and rebound adjusters act more on mid-speed damping than they do on low speed. So it's a little bit different of an adjustment than a Kayaba and a Showa, which we're familiar with. Those seem to be true low speed adjustments, where the WP tend to have a little bit more effect on like mid speed valving. Can a weekend warrior really tell the difference between a 2014 and a 2020 KTM? Yes, I think so.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I've the last three
Because one has a carburetor and one has fuel injection. Well, are we talking about four strokes? If it's four strokes, one feels 10 pounds lighter and like it has less power.
Yeah, I think it's back
'Cause
to
it
you
has-
said a model year. It's just like, the last two bikes I've had have been like one model year, the next, and they're all just everything's just 5 or 10% better, like across the board.
Troy Hicks says, Yamahas are evil. They want to kill you. Troy, this program is sponsored by KTM. KTM, hold on, should we call Logan? Thanks for saying that, but Yamaha did not want to kill me. It was 100% rider error, because if I hadn't have been on the motorcycle, I wouldn't have crashed. So let's just start there. Mm-hmm. And then there's work up to the point where I actually thought I ran out of, what do they call it? Talent?
Gears.
Yeah. No, I was in the right gear. I was doing everything perfect, but my talent level wasn't able to recover from whatever happened.
Congratulating himself when it all happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, high five himself.
How did you know that? Congratulating myself while I was crashing. I was
That's
just
the usual scenario.
Well, actually, I ride here. Okay, here's back to my very idealized way of riding, which in an ideal world works perfect, but in the real world could cause some problems if you let it go overboard. I ride so light on the handlebars now. I mean, because of my wrists mostly, but I bet you I was so light on the handlebars and so relaxed that whenever they set down, they got yanked out of my hands. Because that's what happens with my wrists when the nerves get crushed, my hands open up and they may have snapped and something might have laid down. Are you going to do something with Travis? If you play with him, he makes noise.
Just hang out and talk.
If you squeeze his suspension. Oh, you're going to demonstrate how I crashed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Here.
Forensic reenactment.
See, Logan did that the other day in the show, and I got him in trouble.
You told me to.
I know. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Troy Hicks again. If you just rode a moped, this wouldn't not happen. Oh, you haven't seen me ride a moped. Brenton Anderson. That's Brent Anderson. Thanks for answering my question, Jimmy. You nailed my riding position. We'll see you in class, maybe in Washington. Hey, Brent, Benton Anderson. Ben. I'll butcher your name. Like who's the guy that from last week? We got to get his name. The guy from last week that helped us with his drawings. Watch our newsletter, and we're going to announce what we've got coming in Washington, hopefully by the 1st of September. It's so close. And Victor's not banned on Facebook anymore. He says, that microphone makes those beer caps sound so good. Let me grab one.
Look at that.
Really, usually we're getting chastised for our sound quality here. San Felipe Bob says it kind of looks like a tiny dog on the show. There was a tiny dog on this show.
Yep, the Chihuahua.
Mark Daniels here. We're going to drop some knowledge here. Never tried this, but heard of guys in Australia use grease in their tires with tubes, and they say baby powder is for your butt. Oh, Mark, yeah. So the Pacificos are kicking in. Mm-hmm. Christian Parker, he's leaving the shop, which is Rottweiler Performance. The reason he said that is he wants me to mention Rottweiler Performance, and I'm going to go after Christian Parker for some advertising dollars so I can get his logo up on these screens, I think.
You should.
Yeah, because we talk about him enough.
Yeah, he's this is target market for sure.
He needs to get out here.
I'll give him a plug right now if you want.
Really?
Yeah. I've got his trio, my 990, man. It's baffling that there was that much improvement to make for aftermarket, like the factory system of the glove box and this and that suck that bad. Like his improvements is night and day better. It's really good.
Well, I'm gonna step in and only because KTM is a sponsor, so I'm gonna step in here and say that they have a lot more to think about as far as they have some space constraints because of a lot of the emissions components and stuff like that, and they can't, there's noise requirements that they're trying to do.
I get that.
And crazy stuff that that's so on that, we were working on your Ford today, and you notice that even though your radiator was broken, but that's a whole different story, the aftermarket thing that you had mounted on the front, the intercooler,
was busted.
Mount was broken.
Yeah.
So we're talking about trucks here. Now he has a Ford, what is it?
The Expedition.
Expedition. Really nice truck, set up really well. It does great until the water level exceeds the height of the fan blades in the radiator.
Yeah.
And I think, this is just me guessing what happened, is we drove across a really, really deep water crossing. And I told him to go first because I had a winch and I could pull him back out if he didn't make it.
And I went for it.
And he went for it. He was driving through, and he was going at a pretty good clip. And it was literally making a wave in the water. Not like you didn't send it. You drove in there nice and safe and smooth. But then it looked like it started like kind of floating a little bit and losing traction and hopping up and down on the bumps underneath. And I think what happened is that wave started pushing, and the water actually, there was a splash that came back up, and it got the plastic radiator fans, the blades.
Yeah.
The water came back up, and the fans, the motors kept spinning, but the fan blades didn't.
Right.
And
hydraulically locks it, the fan blades break off.
And guess where they went?
Oh, was it your radiator or his?
It was his radiator.
My radiator. Yeah.
Yeah.
It poked
no worries.
Poked like 5 holes in it.
Yeah. Well, we patched one really good. It was just like I did the other week with Johnny Campbell's Sierra 450X that I laid over in a turn, and I had to patch the radiator. I managed to patch that, but I tried to patch Mike's radiator, and it didn't work.
Need more patch.
So we towed him back. Yeah. with my one Dodge truck that's still running, or 1 of 5 or 1 of 4.
That was kind of carnage this weekend, huh?
Yeah, carnage. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been out working on Rebel Rally. Thanks Rebel Rally for the 4 delays of tequila. Thanks Emily and Larry. They take care of us with that. Since I don't want to talk in a few seconds, why don't you help me with that thing? And remember, it's sipping tequila.
Okay, I'll put you a baby again. Sorry.
Actually, Emmy's on. Emily on the thing.
Right here. Is that how these work?
It's not twist off, bro. It's a cork. What about the Roddy 1190 intakes? Troy, glad you asked. So he's asking about the Rottweiler 1190 intakes, or 1090, or any of his intake systems. They're really, really good. They will give you more power, in my experience, especially in the old carbureted bikes, way better fuel economy. And you can tune the power delivery based on the velocity stacks. And I think I can answer those questions. I like the really short ones because they don't make as much power on the dyno, but they definitely make the bike more rideable and drivable. And Chris will sell you the taller ones because they make more power on the dyno. That's what everybody really wants. But if you talk to Chris, he'll set you right. And or talk to any of his guys. He's got sharp guys working down there that'll tell you how stuff really works. George is going to tell you. It says, I just glanced at it. It says the manual for the Raptor says. so hey, he's showing off, and you took a picture of my truck going through that water.
Yeah.
You know how slow I went through there, right?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had a winch, and I saw all those poles along the side, so I knew that I could hook up to your truck or one of those poles and pull me out.
But yeah, I could put
Warn winch, by the way. I have
my arm out the window and I could touch the water.
Yeah. It was halfway up the door. Yeah, and I trust my Warn winch has rolled over a few Suzuki Samurais recently. Helped them unroll. It says you can go through 36 inches of water, but you should be careful of water seeping into the cab. I did that in my truck. I got water in the cab.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It got in. My carpet was all wet. But too bad I missed it. I could have told you both home.
Well, thanks, George. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's good to know. I'll call you next time.
I thought you were going to come with us, but something kept you. Yeah, we drank most of the Fortaleza. It's up at the secret spot. So all good. Hey, I think with that we've concluded the majority of our questions. We've answered every question asked of us without referring to a reference manual, which is not the best way to do it, but we're relying on years of experience to come up with this stuff.
Yeah, you're a human reference manual.
Okay. We're going to work on this here real quick. Wow, I got a lot of messages. I must have done something wrong on the phone.
No, you got fans out there, homie.
Yeah, so we're going to make sure we can do our last ad read as reflected in our contracts. Hey, if you're interested in sponsoring Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, feel free to contact Jimmy at dirtbiketest.com. Unlike the people that have been contacting me lately that have been going, what's your CPM advertising rates and all this other stuff that doesn't really make sense to me. Hey, Logan.
Hello.
What's on your list?
What?
What's on your list?
Let's where?
Yeah, you're just supposed to go straight into the read, man.
Powered by a...
I don't know. What are you watching cartoons there or doing jumping jacks?
We're fishing.
Fishing?
Yeah.
Isn't it dark?
No.
No.
It doesn't come down until like 9.
Oh, you must be north of here. Yeah.
He's in the Arctic.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so if you weren't fishing, you'd be riding a KTM. And what is KTM?
They are powered by a distinct, ready-to-race mentality. KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer, with North American headquarters based in Marietta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on racetracks around the world, and the brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every product it develops and every move it makes.
Awesome.
Boom. Nailed it.
What do you
Good job,
got?
Logan.
What do you got on the end of the line right now? Trout, grouper, salmon, halibut,
Trout.
pike, trout. You're fishing for trout.
Yeah.
Good. How's the mosquitoes?
Not too bad today.
Awesome. Well, hey, Logan, just for doing that on call, perfect tonight. You get to come back next week.
You nailed it, Logan.
Cool.
Yeah, Mike says he's not coming back.
Yeah, there's like a...
Actually, you should have listened to how many problems he had reading the damn questions. He was like a full novice.
I was. Logan, I needed you here to coach me through. I was like overthinking everything.
Yeah. Okay, hey, catch some fish and have a great time.
Yep, we'll do.
Okay, see you.
Bye, Logan.
Bye.
So there it is. With that, we're going to wrap up Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You can always support us by adopting a small chihuahua.
$5.
Or buying this one.
PayPal me.
We are on... we have links at the bottom of our Fresh Dirt stories that go to an Amazon link. If you're ever shopping for real expensive items, definitely click through on that. Even if you're shopping for cheap items like Chihuahua food, click through on that. We get a little chunk of it. Buy a T-shirt. It's up on the sign.
The nice shirts.
Right behind us. Yeah, we have really nice shirts, and they don't do well with food stains on them. But I should wear all the ones. I should wear some with food stains. It's almost like the stain I have on the side of my face from my helmet doing its job and my face hitting the ground. We need a Hawaiian print shirt. Is that what you're saying?
That way you can't tell
What you spilled on it. Right. And thanks to everybody for joining in on our chat room that's on Facebook all the time. You guys always have good questions and keep it interesting in there. And I will be back likely next Tuesday at the same time. Yeah.
Tech Talk Taco
Tech
Tuesday.
Talk Taco Tuesday. We'll do episode number 71. And with that, we will see you out on the trail. So
Yeah.
cheers.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy. Ow! Go get it.